Have you ever had a connection that felt electric, spiritual, maybe even divinely orchestrated, but somehow, over time, it stopped nourishing you? Because a relationship can have extraordinary chemistry and still leave your heart hungry. And that is precisely what we're talking about today. Hi, beautiful souls. I'm Guru Amora, sex and relationship coach and founder of Ascension Academy. And here we explore secure love as a path to enlightenment. Because I believe our relationships are one of the greatest spiritual classrooms we will ever enter. Love will show you where you are secure. Love will show you where you are abandoning yourself. Love will reveal your attachment patterns, your boundaries, your character, your capacity to receive, and sometimes love will reveal where you have mistaken powerful connection for a sustainable one. Inside Ascension Academy, I teach this through the foundational pillars of my work: embodiment and somatics, practical spirituality, psychology and attachment wisdom, character development, sacred feminine eroticism, and Shakti Kundalini rising awareness. Because enlightenment isn't just something we experience on a meditation cushion. It is revealed in how we love, how we choose, how we communicate, how we repair, how we honor ourselves when someone else cannot meet us where we are, and how we remain loving without abandoning discernment. So today I want to talk about something I think many of us have experienced but haven't necessarily known how to name. What actually makes a relationship nourishing? Because chemistry is not nourishment. Compatibility is not exactly nourishment either. And love alone does not necessarily create a relationship that can sustain you. So let's break this down. Chemistry is the spark. Chemistry is that feeling of, oh, there you are. You meet someone and something comes alive in you. You laugh easy, conversation flows, and maybe you have similar spiritual beliefs. Maybe you experience similar synchronicities. Maybe there is an almost uncanny familiarity between you two. And suddenly you're thinking, where have you been all of my life? 3 conversations in, and you're discussing childhood wounds, God, past lives, attachment styles, your purpose on earth, and what you think happens after death. Meanwhile, you don't even know if this person returns their shopping cart. And listen, chemistry is beautiful. I'm not here to demonize chemistry. Chemistry creates attraction, curiosity, energy, movement. Sometimes chemistry is precisely what opens the door through which 2 souls can discover one another. Chemistry tells you something is happening here. However, it does not necessarily tell you if this relationship is capable of sustaining you. Those are 2 very different things. Compatibility is the structure. Compatibility asks different questions. Do our values align? Do our lifestyles actually work together? Do we want similar kinds of relationships? Do we communicate in ways the other person can receive? Can we navigate conflict? Do our expectations of closeness resemble one another? Do we have compatible needs around affection, communication, quality time, space, devotion, sexuality, spirituality, family, money, growth? Because you can adore someone and be incompatible in the way they live. You can have a profound spiritual connection with somebody who simply does not possess the availability required for the relationship you desire. And this is where people sometimes become very confused. Because the connection was real. The love may be real. The affection may be real. The memories were real. The synchronicities may have felt real. But none of those things automatically create compatibility. This is why secure love requires us to become very skilled at holding two truths at once. This person may be beautiful, and this relationship may not work for me. Maturity doesn't require you to turn someone into a villain before you're allowed to recognize incompatibility. That one's important. Someone does not have to betray you, lie to you, mistreat you, or become some terrible human being before you're permitted to say, this relationship no longer nourishes me. And then there's nourishment. Now, this is the piece I really want us to sit with. Nourishment is different. Nourishment is what allows the relationship to remain alive. Think about a plant. You can admire the plant. You can tell the plant how beautiful it is. You can write poetry to the plant. You can tell everybody that this plant was sent to you by God. But baby, nobody waters it. The leaves are still going to get crispy. Love requires embodiment. Relationships require participation. Nourishment looks like presence, consideration, effort, curiosity, reciprocity, repair, shared experiences, emotional availability, and consistency. Not perfection, consistency. And consistency does not mean someone has to show up exactly the way you would. Different people love differently. Different seasons create different capacities. We have jobs, we have families, healing seasons, mental and emotional bandwidth. Sometimes someone we love genuinely cannot give us what they once could. And secure love makes room for that humanity. But secure love also asks, what does the pattern reveal? You must believe the pattern, not only the poetry. This can be especially difficult when someone expresses love beautifully, because words can feel incredibly intimate. Someone may tell you, I love you. You're important to me. Our connection means so much to me. And they may sincerely mean every single word. But secure attachment doesn't only listen to declarations, it observes patterns. Can their behavior carry the weight of their words? Because affection and capacity are not the same thing. Someone can love you and have very little capacity to participate in relationship with you. Someone can appreciate you and still not prioritize the relationship. Someone can feel deeply connected to you and still be unavailable. And this is where discernment becomes sacred. Because instead of asking, do they love me? Sometimes the more useful question is, what kind of relationship are they actually capable of creating with me? That question will save you years. Now, acceptance does not mean unlimited access, because here's where spirituality can get us into trouble. Because many beautiful, compassionate people have been taught that being spiritual means endlessly accepting everybody exactly as they are. And yes, accept people as they are, please. Stop trying to renovate human beings like HGTV projects. Because acceptance does not mean participation. Acceptance does not mean proximity. Acceptance does not mean unlimited access. And acceptance certainly does not require self-abandonment. You can say, I accept that this is how you show up. And then ask, does the way you show up work for me? That's not judgment. That's discernment. That's sovereignty. That is secure love. You're not demanding, "Come different so I can love you." You're saying, "I love you enough to stop fighting reality, and I love myself enough to respond to reality honestly." But Guru Amora, if I tell someone what I need, aren't I trying to control how they show up? No. A need communicated respectfully is information. A boundary is information. A request is information. Control says, "You must do this so I can be okay." Secure communication says, "This is what creates connection for me." What creates connection for you? Is there enough overlap for us to build something nourishing together? That is collaboration. You aren't forcing compatibility. You're discovering whether compatibility exists. Huge difference. Because when somebody tells you what they can or cannot offer, you must believe them. And perhaps even more importantly, when their repeated behavior shows you what they can or cannot offer, believe that too. You don't have to punish them. You don't have to withdraw love dramatically. You don't need a villain. You simply stop negotiating against the evidence. This can hurt so much. Let's bring the nervous system into this. Because sometimes grief isn't only about what the relationship is today. You're grieving what once was. You're grieving the version of the relationship where there was mutual excitement, shared experiences, long conversations, deep connection, perhaps a sense of being profoundly chosen. And your nervous system remembers that. So when the relationship changes, a part of you may keep waiting for the original version to come back. This happens romantically. It happens in friendships. It happens in families. We remain attached not only to the person, but to the relational memory. And in the words of Roy Eugene Davis from Living Consciously in God, that which endures without changing is said to be real. Expecting transient things, situations, or relationships to provide lasting security or happiness will always result in discomfort or disappointment. Sometimes healing requires allowing yourself to stop relating to someone's potential, someone's history, or who they were 6 years ago, and begin relating to who they are consistently showing up as now. Because the present relationship deserves to be evaluated in the present, not through nostalgia or through fantasy or potential, through truth. So here's how I want you to remember this. Chemistry is the spark. Chemistry says something between us is alive. Compatibility is the structure. Compatibility says our values, needs, and ways of living can actually coexist. And nourishment is the ongoing practice. Nourishment says we continue choosing, tending, participating, and pouring life into what exists between us. You need some degree of all three for deeply fulfilling relationships, because chemistry without compatibility can become chaos. Compatibility without chemistry can become obligation. And chemistry plus compatibility without nourishment, eventually the relationship starves. Not every sacred connection is a permanent connection. And perhaps this is where the spiritual lesson becomes especially beautiful. We have a tendency to believe that if God brought somebody into our lives, God must intend them to stay forever. I'm not convinced that's true. Some relationships are companions, some are catalysts, some are mirrors. Some awaken dormant pieces of our soul. Some teach us boundaries. Some teach us forgiveness. Some teach us what home feels like. And some teach us when it's time to stop standing outside of someone's door asking whether or not we're welcome. A relationship ending, a changing form, or becoming less intimate does not erase what was sacred about it. It may simply mean that the lesson has changed. And this is where we stop asking, how do I make this relationship become what it used to be? And start asking, what is this relationship showing me about who I'm becoming? Secure love chooses reality. And this is one of the deepest practices of secure love. Secure love does not chase connection at the expense of dignity. Secure love doesn't demand that everybody meet every need. Secure love doesn't punish people for having limitations. But secure love also refuses to make a permanent home inside chronic deprivation. Even if the connection was extraordinary, even if you have a beautiful history, even if you've experienced God together, even if you still love one another, you're allowed to acknowledge, I need relationships that participate in my life. You're allowed to desire people who initiate, who show up, who make memories with you, who consider you, who repair with you, who create space for you, who choose you, not every second of every day, but consistently enough that your relationship actually has something to live on. That's not neediness. That is relational nourishment. So if there is a relationship in your life right now that you feel confused about, don't immediately ask whether you should stay or go. Instead, sit with these questions. Is there chemistry? Is there true compatibility? And most importantly, is there nourishment? What does this relationship consistently feed? Peace, expansion, reciprocity, safety, joy, belonging, or longing, confusion, waiting, hope? And then ask yourself one final question. Am I loving this person as they actually are? Or am I remaining loyal to a version of the relationship that no longer exists? Because loving people as they are also means seeing them as they are. And sometimes the highest expression of love isn't gripping tighter. It's releasing expectation. Blessing what was beautiful. Honoring what is true. And choosing relationships compatible of meeting you in the life you're living now. Chemistry may introduce you. Compatibility may give you somewhere to stand. But nourishment is what makes love livable. And that is secure love. If this teaching spoke something you're moving through right now, subscribe to this channel and join me here for the Enlightened Lover Series, where we explore relationships not simply as something to get right, but as a sacred path towards greater consciousness. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, Ascension Academy is my women-only school devoted to nervous system safety, attachment healing, sacred feminine self-mastery, embodied spirituality, and conscious love. Because the relationship you create with another human can only become as conscious as the relationship you are willing to create with yourself. Heal the pattern, embody the lesson, choose from truth, and let love become your path to enlightenment. Sincerely and with love, Guru Amora.